everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
And my name is Ashton.
No Peter Austin.
He's got the birthday plot.
He does have the birthday plops. He is somewhere in England.
In Yorkshire, I think.
Having a nice birthday time.
Yeah.
Should we just give out his coordinates so people can find him?
Yeah, his what 3 words?
He's parked in this field.
Yeah.
Go get him. It's
Last
a
I
fun
saw,
Easter surprise.
He'd found some rocks.
Really?
He put a picture on Instagram and he was like, we walked to
this
a stone circle, and I was like, them some rocks.
This is what I'm missing out on by not being on Instagram.
It
I don't get to see rocks.
Where he is.
Where else am I going to see rocks?
I don't know. We're not going to go find him ourselves. What do we look like? Peter Austin?
I feel like a complete
No,
moron
thanks.
missing out on the rocks. But welcome everybody to the podcast. We're going to talk about some video games today. Thank you for joining us. Each and every week, Ashton, we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor that helps us keep the lights on
about
here. It helps. Dead Island 2 the Spider is not here. It helps us ask Dan from Cultaholic to come in here and help us when the computer fan starts screaming for some reason and we think it's going to explode.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
No, Dan fixed it.
It's currently fine.
Every single week we come in here on Thursday morning, bright and early at 10 a.m. And we get in, we turn stuff on, and we're like, cool, look at us go. Easy breezy time.
Ready to go.
And every single time something breaks, and every single time we have to get Dan in. We say, Dan, please can you help us? Because the computer's broken.
Dan, it's pooed itself again.
Yeah.
We don't know why. We were getting static shocks from the stream PC for the longest time. I was, yeah. And then I was touching door handles and still getting static shocks. Maybe it's just when we all come together, when there's more than one of us in the same room, something has to go wrong.
The chaos energy just breaks something.
It must be that.
Yeah.
Because when we're on our own and we're streaming in the streaming room, fine. Still some issues sometimes, but not many. When we're together every Thursday without fail, maybe it's just Thursdays.
I think Thursdays.
We record the podcast on Thursdays. We do a joint stream on Thursdays. Everything goes wrong. All the
joint stream
breaks.
also has issues as well. So I think maybe it's just Thursdays.
Could be. We had Cultaholic with us last Wednesday. Oh, last Wednesday, actually. I was going to say, so maybe it's not Thursdays because obviously you've all now seen the amazing WWE 2K23 edited VOD that's gone up on the Cultaholic YouTube channel that we talked about last week.
It's pretty good.
It's very good. It's got incredible commentary from 2 very handsome and capable gentlemen. And we needed to capture the footage for that somehow and not just record the stream, which obviously has all the audio of us talking over it and the picture-in-picture and all that kind of stuff. It failed. It didn't record. And I knew
that was going to happen.
I knew it was probably going to happen, so I used a backup method, and we had to go with the backup method.
We'd previously discussed having contingencies because we both knew that it was going to break.
It's going to break. It did break, but fortunately we were prepared. So welcome to the Thursday podcast where the lights are on, where that light is on. Actually, that light doesn't work. So again, leaning into the theory, I have a sponsor here.
Yes.
Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
So this is a very exciting new product that is the combined efforts of Neutrogena, the pharmaceuticals brand, and Sony Interactive Entertainment.
You love a skincare sponsor.
I do, and I'm not sure why.
No.
But they always come to me for help.
Yeah. Since you've got such nice skin.
That's it. They see my skin, they think, that guy's got good skin. Let's just take some.
Yeah.
Let's take some of that skin. This is to tie into an upcoming release. And a lot of you will be able to lend your expertise here. A lot of players of this particular video game have been having trouble sleeping. In particular, they've got sore nostrils because of all the snoring they've been doing.
Right. Okay.
And so to remedy this, Neutrogena have teamed up with Sony Interactive Entertainment to release Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Snores.
Right, yeah.
And it comes in a handy little tube with a little applicator that you just stick up your snores, each nostril hole, and you squeeze it, and it goes like that. And then, no more snores.
Wow.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've tried it.
Yeah?
I haven't played Horizon for a while, though, so it didn't really do anything for me. But maybe you should give it a go.
Yeah, I should. Maybe it'll make my snores less sore.
Less sore.
Yeah.
That's it.
Less sore snores.
Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Snores is releasing next week. That's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have a nice, fresh nose. next week, you say?
Nope. No, it's not real. It's not real. Sorry.
Dang. But my nose is so sore.
Well, you're just going to have to go to a doctor.
Damn.
There's no gaming adjacent specific medical
I only
procedure
use
for that.
gaming adjacent things in my life. Gaming adjacent food. I only eat the Mario pizzas. And if it's not got a game in it, don't want it.
Don't want it. I only wash with Link's Xbox shower gel.
Yep.
That we've had
I had
in
to
our streaming
stockpile
room.
it because they don't make it anymore.
They don't. I've just been watering it down for years.
Yeah.
No, we're not sponsored by Horizon Forbidden West Burning Snores, the upcoming DLC, and Neutrogena nasal spray. We are sponsored by wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump, where for as little as $1 per month, you can submit questions to this podcast. There's loads of other tiers available as well. Please consider going there and giving us your support if you're able to. Ashton Matthews.
Yes.
Is there a question?
There is. It comes from Quetzal Angel. Hello, Beppy Bash.
Hello.
Beppy Ash. Beppy Ash. BP Ash.
Beepish.
Beepish. I'm stealing this one from Twitter, but what is a moment in video games where you thought the graphics couldn't get any better? Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Quetzal Angel.
Quetzal.
Now mine's a recent one because I just remember the moment distinctly because I'm replaying the game at the moment. But when I first played Horizon Forbidden West, it was the first kind of PlayStation 5 testing style game that I'd played. I played like Ratchet and Clank, and that was obviously really good. But it was the first one that I really thought, wow, this console can handle a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a moment where very early on in the game where you're going down this like crank kind of zip line in a, I don't know what it's called.
Like a little ferry lift. It's like a lift,
yeah, it's like a lift.
But you go
There's
diagonally.
a name for it, but I can't remember what it is.
What's it?
Like a ski lift kind of thing.
Yeah. What's it called though?
I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. But you go down that and you're kind of being like talked to by this guy, but you can just see out onto the map all of the like the areas, and as you go down it's just visually just stunning. And I remember just sitting there the first time being like,
Cable car,
thank you.
God damn it. It was so hard.
Cable car. I remember just sitting there the first time and being like, wow, this game looks amazing. I was like, I've never seen a game look this good. And I was like, and I don't know what else they could possibly do to make this to make a game look better than this. And obviously there was a lot of things about how detailed Aloy was in the character models.
She's got a beard.
She's got a beard. Why that woman got a beard? And I just think that is the first game where I thought, man, this game is really, really stunning. And I physically, even now, like I don't know what they could possibly do with games. I mean, God of War did it, like, I think had better mocap than Horizon Forbidden West. But I just was like, even, like I say, I just think I don't know what we can do to make games look better than that. I just think it looks amazing.
I have a few as time has passed where I thought, whereas surely it can't go any further than this now. Now it's just getting silly. On the PS2, I remember seeing my cousin play Metal Gear Solid 2, and I thought, this looks unbelievable. How does this even work? And then I also saw that same cousin playing Final Fantasy X with its actual proper animated cutscenes, and obviously those aren't in-game graphics, but I was like, this is unreal. How is this? How are they flipping doing this? This is crazy. And then of course that moved to the launch of the PS3, where it was like, this is actually the future. I remember reading a magazine before the PS3 came out that was examining the upcoming Call of Duty 3, and they like had a full page spread where it was just photos of one of the soldiers' uniforms. And they were like, look how detailed this uniform is.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that detailed at all.
It was 6 polygons.
But at launch, I remember playing Resistance Fall of Man, which is one of my favorite games. And I remember calling my mum to come up to my room and have a look, because you could shoot. I've spoken about this on the podcast before. You could shoot the glass panes on windows, and they would splinter like procedurally. Like they wouldn't just shatter. They would splinter depending on where you shot them. And I thought that was unbelievable. How how does this technology even exist? That then, of course, extended to Heavy Rain, where I thought it's not going to get any more realistic than this. That's a real human being that I could talk to today.
It looks just like my friend.
That looks just like a normal person.
Yeah.
They act the same. They talk the same. Their faces, they're totally normal.
Totally normal faces.
Completely normal facial movements.
The mouth moves just like every other human being.
I pull those faces too. Exactly those faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, those games, especially Heavy Rain, when Peter and I streamed it a couple of years ago, looks crap now. looks so dated in terms of the motion capture and the facial capture. I don't know. I feel like it reached a point for me where I just sort of accepted games probably aren't gonna look any better in terms of realism. They can look better in terms of how the performance of human beings is captured and how how it runs in terms of frames per second and the amount of bits and bytes that are going in there. That's actual technical talk.
Yeah.
But also games can still blow our minds, I think, by just completely sidestepping using human beings at all and just having amazing art styles that look incredible and all these, even Resogun, was it Resogun? Yeah, I think, which was a PS4 launch game. When you finish a stage, it just explodes into like millions of little pixels and they all just collapsed, like cascade down in almost like a liquid form. And that's only going to get more impressive. Water's going to look better and better.
Every time, that's the thing that everyone always like harps on about, isn't it? Like, the water in this game looks amazing.
Top 5 water.
Like, I mean, Horizon Forbidden West does have absolutely incredible looking water, but so did Chia, that we know that's just come out, and obviously it's a different art style entirely, but the water in that also looks pretty, and that's always the thing that people always like, wow, the water looks amazing. You never go like, this tree looks
Look
sick.
how sick this grass is. I mean, to be fair, grass and foliage is another one.
It is true.
Because it's really noticeable now when you play a game and the grass doesn't even a little bit react to your footsteps, or if you walk through foliage, it doesn't move a little bit, or if it's not swaying in the breeze. There's a lot of the power of these consoles is being put, as we've spoken about before, is being put more into detailing these open worlds rather than, it seems at times, populating them necessarily. Because to populate them with humans that are as detailed as the environments is going to take a lot of processing power, and that's a challenge. But the worlds certainly are getting more detailed, and I think that's really where we're going to see advancements made. But there we are. There's a few. There
we are. Well, should we move on to a segment we've never done before? We're testing it while Peter's not here.
Yeah, Peter's going to be gutted.
He's going to be really sad because it was actually his idea.
Loser, sucker.
It. Sorry about it. Happy birthday, loser. It is a segment that we are calling What We Playin.
Oh. It's What We Playin time. Time to talk about the games, what we have been playing. Ashton Matthews.
Yeah.
I've played so many flipping games.
Well, it was a long weekend.
So many different games this past week. But what have you been playing?
I have been playing a few games because we had an extra 2 days of weekend this weekend.
Hell yeah, bro.
Bloody lovely.
Thanks, Jesus.
Thanks, Jesus. Happy birthday.
Or cheers for the eggs as well. Where he also came back.
Yeah, so. Happy re-birthday.
It's just all about him, isn't he?
Yeah. I have played some more Sackboy Big Adventure. I played that both in 2-player and 4-player.
Nice. How was it in 4-player? I've never played it
chaos.
in 4-player.
Absolute chaos. But it was good fun. Played some more Play Up with some pals. I had editor Alex and editor Ciaran over, and we played some Play Up, and that was fun. Nice. We also put Ciaran in Resident Evil 4 and Vader Immortal on the quest, and he punched my boyfriend right in the arm, and it was quite funny. It was Ben's fault though, to be fair. He walked past the danger zone,
got in the safe zone, the danger zone, whatever you want to call it.
I also played some Meet Your Maker this week, which is the new PlayStation Plus game that came out last week. Pretty good. Pretty fun. We made one, like, I would call it a baby run, where it's like on normal mode. We only had like 900 blocks to use. And then we made one on Ben's account that is 4,500 blocks.
Oh my God.
And honestly, it got rated as brutal, and like no one's done it because it's too hard. And there's just at one point when you grab like the gen mat, which is like the thing you're aiming for, you can set up a secondary set of traps to go off on their way out because you've got to stop them from getting out.
Right.
When they grab that, every single wall in the room just turns to spike traps.
Brilliant.
Like every single one.
God.
It's too many.
Can you do an Indiana Jones and swap it? Because I've not played any of this. Is it quite intuitive?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Make?
I mean, it's quite fun to make. I'd say that it's more fun to make them than it is to necessarily play them.
Okay.
Just because like you don't get many. There's only like 2 weapons really, and you don't really get a lot. But I mean, it's quite fun to watch each other get minced by traps. I was being used as a kind of minesweeper when we played it. I was being sent in first, and then if a trap went off, he'd just hit it after I'd already died and revive me. So I also played some Horizon Forbidden West. I've dived back into that before the DLC comes out next week. Giving myself a week to finish it. I fully intended to like just do the main story missions and the odd side quests that I came across. I'm doing everything again.
Uh-oh. Are you going to be done in time?
Maybe, I don't know. I might power through if we get to the deadline, because I'm pretty sure that the DLC is set post endgame. So
okay.
So I can like do it afterwards.
Right.
But I keep being like, I want to go to that question mark. What if I did just go to the question mark?
Well, why would it be there if you didn't have to
What if I did just go and do that?
If you just swept by?
I'm not doing the hunting grounds. I'm not doing the melee pits, and I'm not doing the races, and I'm not doing the bloody strike board game nonsense.
Oh my god! No.
But I am doing pretty much everything else. So
okay.
But also because you've got like, it's a bit buggy because it's in New Game Plus. You've still got like all of the equipment that you've previously unlocked.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, would you not want to go back to your previous save because you've got all the stuff in there? I did,
yeah. I've got like every weapon. My weapon wheel looks ridiculous. Every single weapon has got 3 different ammo types. So it's pretty ridiculous. I couldn't remember how to play. So I was like, I'm going to have to start again because I don't know any of the controls.
Yeah.
And it is ridiculous. And sometimes it bugs out because it's like, go and build this thing. And I'm like, I already have it. It's in my hand. And it's like, you have to build it because that's the story.
Seems like you're going to have to get another one.
Yeah, exactly. I also played some Chia. I platinumed Chia this weekend. That's a great game. It's really good. Out of absolute left field in the second half, though. Like towards the end, the final kind of third of the game, it's just like
I saw the title of
baffling.
your stream from this week. There was something about committing crimes to save our dad or something. And without any context, that does sound a bit mad.
Yeah.
That's not what I would expect.
There's a bunch of factories, and in order to save your dad, you have to basically like make the factories inoperable. So you basically just commit property damage. Yeah,
excellent.
Bit of eco-terrorism to save your dad. But everyone in my stream was very upset with me. There's quite a big twist that happens. And if you don't want it spoiled, don't watch my most recent VOD because it happens in the VOD. But
why were they cross with you? You were playing through the whole game.
They were cross with me because I didn't warn them what was going to happen. And
but then that would be a spoiler for the twist.
Yeah, I know it would. But people they were upset that I'd lied to them.
I don't understand.
You won't understand unless you played it. But
so this job can be challenging sometimes. You can say that you like dogs, and then people will say, well, that means they hate cats.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it works.
And also I played some Horizon Call of the Mountain.
The PlayStation VR 2 title.
Yes. I went to your house with your friend Ben.
There were 3 Bens in the same room.
Someone on my stream yesterday was like, did you have fun playing on Ben's VR the weekend? And I was like, how do you know that?
Oh, it's because
how do you know that?
When I had my Ben over, because he came up to visit, he brought his PSVR 2. He's one of, I don't want to brag, 6 people in the world who has a PSVR 2. It's pretty exciting. He brought it up, and then we did a stream on Vidiots, just a charity stream where we played some VR 2 titles and had a mess around. And on the stream, I brought up the fact that I said last week on the podcast, I'm going to play Horizon, by the way, and you looked absolutely gutted. And I said, oh, actually, I suppose, like, her and Ben could like come around tomorrow and give it a go. And I was like, yeah, sure. So maybe Yeah, and these people, they're paying attention.
They are paying attention, but there was a moment of pure panic where I was like, how do you know what I did the weekend?
They watched you arrive.
It freaked me out. So I played some of that. I only played like about maybe 40 minutes of it, like up to the kind of title screen, because I knew that if I kept playing it, I was going to get really, really sad that I couldn't finish the game, because I was like, there's no way I can finish the game now. And also, like, I feel like I don't want to overstay my welcome here. Ben invited us to pop round and
just
play
pop round for a couple of hours.
And then it was a few hours, and I thought, we got to leave soon.
Your reasoning, it did kind of make sense, but also baffled all of us, because your Ben brought over, what was it, the Quest? The Quest Go.
Yeah.
Is that
Quest,
what it's called?
Quest 2.
The Quest 2.
The Quest as well.
For us to have a go with as well. So there were 2 VR units set up in my flat. It was ridiculous. And once you'd decided, right, I'm going to stop now, or I'm going to be sad.
Yeah.
The VR2 was just sat there because everyone had had a go with it.
We're like,
just play it. Just play it. It's right there. Just play some more.
No,
I'm going to be sad. Like,
because if I kept playing it, I would know that I would get really like excited about it, and then I wouldn't be able to play it again for the foreseeable future until I either next encountered a PlayStation VR2 or got my own one.
Your own.
I was like, and I'm not buying one anytime soon. It's too expensive. So I was like, I can't keep getting into this, because my brain will be like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. And then I'd have to take it away, and I'd have withdrawal symptoms. So I was like, I can't play it anymore.
I know what I'm like, and I have to stop now.
I have to be honest. If I keep playing it, I will be sad for the rest of the year. And I thought, though, that Reyes sounded like Nick Offerman. And the whole time when he was talking, I was like, that's Nick Offerman off of Parks and Rec talking to me. It's not. It's not him. It's some other guy.
And is that the protagonist?
Yeah. Okay. But he sounds just like Nick Offerman. And I was like, this is so weird. But I played with every instrument I found. I figured out that you can one-hand climb if you're quick enough.
Yep.
And yeah, it was really, really stunning. And the PSVR 2 is pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. Just a shame there's no games for it, and it costs so much money.
It does cost an awful lot of money. I'll talk about my experiences with the PSVR 2 in a minute. But yeah, it's a good headset. It's very, very clear when you put it on. Like the visual fidelities, it's really impressive. But it sounds like it's massively undersold, and Sony doesn't need any. It hurt your head.
Yeah, the one that Ben's got, the VR 2, and the Rift that I've got doesn't hurt my head as much as the PlayStation VR 2. I felt like it was real digging into my skull, and I was like,
oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't have that issue, but it is something that I guarantee within a year Sony will have stopped promoting, because they don't need much encouragement to just give up on a product if it's not, full stop. If it's not performing, then definitely not. And then why would anyone want to throw resources into developing exclusive titles for it?
They won't.
It's a shame, because it's a really good piece of kit, but I think it's kind of surprising that they made it at all.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah,
but I'm glad they did. It's great, but I have, even after playing one, I have no intention of buying one. It's just too expensive.
Yeah. So. But that's all I played. I also played a puzzle game in VR, but I don't know what that's called. So
yeah, I can't remember what that was called either. You've played 10 Dates.
Oh my God, I forgot we played 10 Dates. We played 10 Dates.
Yeah.
And there was a man that I really, really wanted to get as the final date. Yeah. I won't say why, because I don't think it's YouTube friendly.
No, it's not YouTube friendly at all. It was filth.
I wanted to make him our partner, and then we got to the end, and it was between him and the woman, and I was like, I think we can date the man.
Yeah.
And I think we can do it. And we didn't. He didn't want to commit to us, so it was a fail. And I was like, we didn't even get the option to say, oh, commitment, no commitment's fine.
I've never seen a fail state screen on 10 Wells Interactive's amazing new title 10 Dates before. But yeah, you backed the wrong horse.
I did.
You were so dead set on having this man that when he said no, there were no more dates for us to go on, and the game ended early.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Wait, did you get more than 3 dates normally then?
Well, you do get 3 dates, but like there's an actual end to the game normally. Like there's a little epilogue about how you got on with your person that you chose at the end.
Yeah, we didn't go on any more dates.
He wasn't interested.
No.
It's crap though, isn't it? It's like it's the worst. It's the best kind of cheese.
The acting in it is pretty good though.
It is.
It's definitely the best acting in any of the other Wells Interactive.
I was very
games.
surprised. Hey, we're less than a month away from Mir and the Dragon Princess.
Well, it was supposed to come out this month, but they pushed it back. But
May, I think it's on the 4th of May, actually,
4th of
Star
May,
Wars Day.
yeah.
But
I'm so excited.
we're all going to
for
have
it.
to get together and play it. But I've got a busy May, so it'll have to maybe
You're busy
be...
every month, so...
I am, but it's also my birthday in May, and I am going away for a week. So we'll have to all get together for my birthday, just like we did last year for Who Pressed Mute on Uncle Marcus, which was a Game of the Year winner. So good. I'm very excited, though. Is that what you've been playing?
That's all I played this week.
Okay, here we go. I've played some more Gears 5 in co-op, and I've been scooting around the red desert on my sand skiff thing or whatever it's called, and I was so bored. I really did not enjoy how long that bit dragged on for, because they'd already done it with the icy place where you do it the first time, where there's lots of options of where to go, and then they just do it again, except this time it's one mission that they just stretch out massively, because you have to get on a bloody sand kite thing and sail it across the sand. So you go to one place and like, oh no, it's not here. Well, this thing's here. Okay, let's press that button. Okay, the button's been pressed. Now we need to go to the other side of the map to go to the other factory. And it's like, oh my God, can they not just be in one place? You're really just stretching it out. Gears 5, I think, is still the better of the two out of Gears 4. But after that, I couldn't play for much longer, because I was kind of getting a bit bored of it. But now I think we're closing in on the end of the game, and I think it's going to get a bit more linear again now, rather than just putting big old stretches of desert between me and my objectives. So fingers crossed. But on the whole, I am still enjoying it. And I'll be sad when I finish it and there's no Gears 6 to play. So again, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Gets announced soon.
Yeah.
I played some more Pokemon Gold. I have now finished the gym badges for the Johto region.
Proud of you.
Thank you. So I'm on my way to the Pokemon League to kill all of them and murder them.
Wow.
And then I can go and do Kanto. But it's been a few days since I played it, but I'm still enjoying that.
Do you think in Pokemon lore that you could put people in a Pokeball?
Well, this is an interesting question. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how any of it works, especially as there are some human-like Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's some pretty man-looking Pokemon.
There are. There's probably some sort of theory or lore implication. You could probably Google it right now.
I'll Google it afterwards.
And find an answer. I played a bit more Saints Row in co-op. It's broken.
So good.
Doesn't work. I played some Zombie Army 4, which was on PS Plus a little while ago in co-op. And you know what? That's a pretty fun game. It's basically Left 4 Dead as made by the people who do Sniper Elite. So it's a squad shooter where you make your way through a level. There's a very loose story. You get rated on your accuracy at the end, and so on and so forth, and who killed the most zombies and things like that. And but unlike Back 4 Blood, which was like, hey, we made Left 4 Dead. Remember that? Come check out our kind of okay game about shooting zombies. This one actually seemingly good enough to have a partnership with Left 4 Dead, because you can download character skin packs where you can you can then look like the Left 4 Dead characters, and you level up between missions and stuff, so there's a sense of progression. I had a pretty good time with it, just to hop in and play some co-op with some friends.
I googled it. It says that if you put a person in a Pokeball, they wouldn't get captured, they'd just get injured.
What? That's even worse.
It says the amount of manipulation that would have to take place for humans to be able to fit inside Pokeballs is dangerous.
Hang on.
And even Professor Faber's invention did not use the same technology that Pokeballs used, apparently. And but some of them are bloody huge.
Yeah, some of them are way bigger than people. That doesn't make sense. The fact that they could be injured is really that implies that yes, they could try, but it would hurt. Just nobody does it. Well, that's actually worse than not knowing, to be honest. I played a little bit of Borderlands 2 in 3-player co-op with editor Ciaran. We started the what's it called? Captain Scarlet and Her Pirate Booty DLC, and that's pretty fun. Had a good time with that.
There's a lot of back and forth in that, though.
There is a lot of going around, all over the place. Then I caved and I bought Resident Evil 4 Remake, which is the main thing I've been playing, and it's fantastic. I really like it. Having never played Resi 4 before, I am playing on baby difficulty, but I'm having a fantastic time. Really, really enjoying it. I'm not going quite in depth as Peter has been in terms of buying the treasure maps and stuff, but I've been hitting most of the things on my way past and exploring nooks and crannies, and I think it's phenomenal. I think it's really, really good, and I'm seriously impressed, and I keep thinking about it and I want to play more of it. I've just finished chapter 10, so I don't think I'm too far from the end, but I haven't had a chance to play it the past couple of days, so hopefully tonight at the time of recording, by the time you listen to this, maybe I'll have finished it. I'm really excited. I'm genuinely having a great time.
Good.
It's a remake of a game I haven't played before.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's really, and what a way to experience it as well. Really, really good. I have heard some quite funny discourse though online about how almost immediately Leon just starts murdering Spanish people with no second thoughts at all, because there's a bit, obviously the bit everyone knows at the start where you walk up and you see that a police officer has been murdered, and then you get attacked and you have to defend yourself. But then you go to a little village bit, and yes, you see that the other police officer is being burned alive, basically. But then he sneaks around the side of a house, and there's just a woman sweeping.
Yeah.
And he's like, and
just straight in the neck,
stabs her in the back.
Yeah.
And she might have not had anything to do with that. She's sweeping, and it's really, it's funny. It's funny. That's the thing. Like, this isn't a criticism.
Having played it in VR, I have killed that woman multiple times.
Well, yeah, me too. No doubt.
Didn't even think about
Just immediately like, that is an enemy.
If she can die, she will die.
She's sweeping. It's like, it's not even, it's just, I just find it really funny because she's not even, it's in the first few games, obviously you're fighting zombies, and these guys have like a plague thing, and worms come out of their head and stuff like that. But it's messed up that while zombies are shuffling around or eating people, these guys, like, she was just sweeping. She was like tidying her garden. She might not have been infected. I mean, obviously she is. If you run past her, she'll like try and grab you and stuff. But like Leon, international man of mystery, just stabs this
serial killer
woman who's sweeping her garden. And I think it's so funny.
That is very funny.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And then of course there was the onslaught of VR2. I played Horizon Call of the Mountain. So pretty. I didn't actually play the opening of the game, so I didn't hear Nick Offerman, but I did play the Safari mode, which is literally a tech demo where you sit in a canoe and you just look at all the massive robots. The sense of scale is unbelievable.
Oh my god,
those robots are huge.
When I killed a Watcher, you get like its eye, and the Watcher eye was at the size of like a beach ball, and I was like, in Horizon, I carry around like 45 of those in my pocket, plus a bunch of like, a Thunderjaw jaw. That's bloody huge. And I looked and I was like, this is really throwing off my sense of scale in the game. Like, this in reality looks absolutely massive. It's really added a whole another dimension of how big are Aloy's pockets. She must be a magician, because.
And also, like, Aloy is not a big person, full stop. And she is fighting these things with a bow and arrow, and it's insane. You see basically every single creature goes past you over the course of this canoe ride, and they are massive. I don't know how she does it. It's crazy. What a hero.
What a hero.
Beyond that, I also played Pavlov I think it's called Pavlov.
Yeah, it's called Pavlov.
In PSVR 2, which is like, I didn't find very fun. It's a super duper realistic shooter where when you reload, you have to press a button to eject the cartridge, then you have to reach down, put a magazine back. I don't know what the ammos are called. Yeah. Magazine back in, then you have to cock it, and it's like, it's just you're there like dropping your gun on the floor. It was a bit too realistic for me. I wanted something a bit more sim-like, but it's still, it's still impressive. And the final thing I played on PSVR 2 was Pistol Whip, where you shoot people in time to the music. It's a bit like Super Hot.
I wasn't very good at that game.
I wasn't very good either, but it was really cool. There's a lot of aim assist, I think, but it does make you feel like Jonathan Wicks, and that's pretty rad. And then I played on the Quest 2, which I was super impressed by. Both of these VR units, you can draw a safe zone, and they have like a pass-through camera so you can see around your environment if you're trying to move around and stuff. But I was super impressed by the Quest 2 because I don't know a huge amount about VR, but I didn't realize that while I knew it was wireless, I thought it still had to connect to something to run the games, but it's all
completely built in, yeah.
That's crazy. And then you can draw a little safe zone. So while the living room was taken up by the VR2, just in the little entrance room where you come into my flat, which is tiny, I was able to draw a little rectangle and still be able to play VR just there next to the front door. It was really, I was very impressed by that. And in that, I played a bit of Resi 4 VR, which was pretty interesting, and Vader Immortal as well. So I was deflecting some lightsaber stuff. So that is flipping loads of video games.
That is a lot of video games.
Loads. Hopefully next week, I'll only be talking about Pokemon Gold, Gears 5, and Resi 4. Because I need to
calm down.
I need to calm the flip down. I played too many games, but a real game heavy weekend for sure. Lots of VR as well, which was
I also
fun.
played catch in the garden.
Yes, you said when you two came over, you said that you'd spent how long?
Like 45 minutes.
45 minutes just throwing a ball back and forth.
And then halfway through, we were like, now try with your left hand.
Oh my God. How bored are you?
We had to wait for a handyman to come round.
Right. That's it.
And then it didn't even come round.
Didn't come round, so then you came and played VR instead.
Then he came around the next day, he ripped the windowsill off and left.
Great. That's why we all need to live in the virtual world.
Yes, exactly.
Only £600 plus £600.
Yeah.
Plus about £1,000 for a TV.
Yeah.
Great. Very affordable. Well, it's time to move on to
Question 2.
Question 2. Yeah, that's it. And I thought it was another section. No, it's question 2. This is from David Lieber. Yo, Bappages, what's the most frustrated you've been with a game you really like? I'm really enjoying Zelda Skyward Sword. The world, story, and puzzles are great. But some of the game design is unbelievably frustrating. Flying through rings in a post-Superman 64 world should be illegal. And the motion controls don't help. I've come close to giving up multiple times. Keep up the great work. David.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
I have a few. Recently in Chia, there is a diving mini game kind of thing. Various points are on the map. There's a diving board. You jump off it. You hold R2 and you use the right stick to spin and flip around and try and get...
Do what?
Spin and flip around.
Spin and flip around. Okay.
And you have to land well and try and get the gold medal in all of them to finish the game. And I hate those. Didn't like them. Did not like them. Was not good at them. Every time I got a gold medal, pure fluke, by just brute forcing my way through it and just doing as many flips as I could and landing.
Was it like that
head.
mini game from the Little Britain video game where you go off the diving board and you just sort of rotate wildly in the air?
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Pretty much exactly like that.
That's a 10 from the judges.
Yeah. And they also have a slingshot kind of shooting range style thing, which I didn't find that annoying, but watching my boyfriend try and do them and fail multiple times, I found that very frustrating. But the diving one is definitely my least favorite. But in terms of actual kind of battles and stuff, I really got frustrated fighting the Wood Knight in Kena Bridge of Spirits because it really wants you to use the parry mechanic, and I hate parry mechanics. So I really struggled my way through that fight the first time. I think I actually turned the difficulty down on that fight because it wound me up so much. Also with difficulty, one time I played Horizon Zero Dawn in hard mode, and I was getting absolutely ganged up on by a bunch of Skyhawks or whatever they're called. And I so much that I put the game down and didn't play it for a month. And then Ben was like, why are you not playing Horizon? I thought you were really enjoying it. I was like, these birds won't leave me alone. They literally are killing me so quick, and I don't know what to do about it. And that's when we found out I was playing it on hard mode. And if I hadn't been playing it on hard mode, which I didn't realise, I did it, put it on easy, killed them straight away. But I was like,
easy peasy.
God, why was I struggling my way through so much?
Think about it this way. The fact that you took a little break just meant that when you ended up finishing Horizon, you were that much closer to the sequel.
That's
you didn't have to wait as long.
Such a good point.
What you should do is microdose this DLC over the course of several years.
Yeah.
And then you can just go straight to the next one.
Every month you get to play half an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you've done your catch.
Yes, exactly. And lastly, I haven't actually finished the game because of this boss fight, but there is a fight in Nier Automata where you come out of the human camp and you go kind of out, and there's I don't even know, it's been so long since I played it, but there's this big flying machine and a bunch of little dudes, and I died on that battle so many times and lost all of my health and power up kind of situation, whatever they are in Nier, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't get past the fight. I kept dying, and I stopped playing the game then, and I've not picked it up since. And I was really enjoying it, and I was really enjoying the world and the soundtrack and the story. But that boss fight put me off so much that I've not gone back and played it. And really, like, I haven't. This was maybe like 6 years ago now, so potentially could give it another go and maybe would be better at it now, but I just could not get past it, and I've just never gone back to it because I was so frustrated and so annoyed by it. So yeah,
that's a shame. It happens to all of us, though.
It does.
Well, I think mainly any of the mega difficulties I've had to do for trophies in the past, I'd say specifically with maybe some of the Sony exclusive first party games like your Uncharted's and Last of Us and stuff like that, I found the hardest difficulty. I think I saved the hardest difficulty run for like the last trophy. And then that was probably the last time I played any of those games where it was just not fun at all. I don't know why anyone would want to do it. Like, full stop. Why would you willingly put yourself through that? Elevated challenge, sure, but we've spoken on this podcast before about different ways developers could approach hard mode apart from enemies deal 10,000 times the amount of damage. Like, just make certain items more scarce or move more enemies into an area to make it harder to overcome. Like, there's different ways that you can increase difficulty without just making enemies hit harder, for example. And so for the longest time, literally until the remastered trilogy came out a couple of years ago, I think the last time I played Mass Effect 2 and 3, both games that I love, were when I brute forced my way through them on the hardest difficulty, having a miserable time. And that was the final time I played those games was, well, I'm never going back to that again because that was a chore. That was a real chore. But beyond that, the speed challenges in Spyro games, you know, when you go to those places and you've got the timer and you've got to fly through those rings.
The one that I hate is the one in that like jungle area where it's all kind of floating paths and you have to like run. You're like full on charging your way through like these series and you have to like jump over to different. I hate that. I hate that.
Oh right, yeah, that's an actual level.
You mean
the time challenge ones?
Yeah,
that level is rubbish as well. I'm not a fan of that one. With like the speed boost things, where you've got to fly through the rings and like there's maybe four sets of 10 things that you have to complete within the time limit.
Destroy the planes or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's tedious and it's so much trial and error until you work out the right way to do it, and it's in every game. And I think Peter would know if he was here.
Is that why you're saying it? Because he's not here. So
I'm just feeling very brave today. He can't shout at me. But no, they're always my least favorite part of the Spyro trilogy. And I enjoy all of the rest of it. So those, and also probably when I first played through Demon Souls, or when I bought Demon Souls, I got up to the Tower Knight. So I beat the first boss, and then I managed to run across the big scary bridge where the dragon's breathing fire at you. And then I got to the Tower Knight, and I died there maybe literally single figure amount of times. But every time you die, you have to run all the way back. There's like no checkpoint or shortcut or anything. You've got to go back across the bridge. And at that point, I just decided, this isn't for me. I'm not having fun. I'm done.
Finished
now. Now here we are. We're back. God, how many years? 10 years later, maybe slightly longer. And it's one of my favorite games. So, you may return to Nier Automata and have a great time.
Eventually. There's so many other things happening that I've just never had time to go back to it. But maybe I will eventually.
If you did,
unlikely.
It might be a bit strange. I don't know why.
Yeah, a bit peculiar, perhaps.
Odd, maybe.
Weird
news. It's weird news time for some weird video game news. Remember, if you would like to submit weird video game news to us, you can do so on Twitter and Facebook by responding to the relevant post at some point early in the week. Is it Tuesday?
Tuesday normally, yeah.
Tuesday. There you go. So you got a couple of days to submit your weird news. If you want to guarantee yourself a shout out at this point in the podcast, however, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump and subscribe at the tier that makes you a podcast producer. Precisely. I was so close. I was trying to force my way through that. I'm going to hiccup.
Hey, don't worry about it. Got you covered. Got you back.
Thank you very much. Just like
Nathan,
GY Goliath,
Nexus Polaris,
Duncan Wilson,
Blake Thomas,
Ellie Nicholas,
Nicole Hansen,
Melody L. Burnett,
and Katie Garrett.
And Gabrielle Philippic. Excellent. Thank you, podcast producers.
Thank you, podcast producers.
You've got some weird news then.
I do have some weird news. It comes from Chris Thompson on Facebook and Stephen Skodes on Twitter. Double whammy.
Twitter.
So on the Eurogamer, written by Ed Nightingale. This one's less weird, more nice.
Oh.
Elderly couple wins at Wii bowling tournament in wholesome gaming moment.
Oh.
And then Ed, because he's an absolute jokester, has
Yeah,
put colour me impressed. Like
M-I-I.
Like M-I-I.
That is hysterical,
It
Edward.
is.
Well done.
It is really good. He says, you may remember the Wii being marketed as a console for everyone, and it seems that motto is still going strong. Over the weekend, an elderly couple competed in a Wii bowling tournament in France and won. Jeannie, 96, and Gilbert, 85.
Jeannie,
it is a good name.
Only very old
Jeannie
women are
and
called
Gilbert.
Jeannie. Do you reckon that's Jeannie's real name or is it a nickname? Sounds like a nickname.
She might be called Jean, and then she goes by Jeannie.
That's great. I like that.
And Gilbert competed representing their retirement home at a Wii bowling LAN host.
Yes. Okay.
At a Wii bowling LAN hosted by Gamers Assembly. Wii bowling was, of course, one of the handful of mini-games included in Wii Sports, a pack-in game launched along with the console. Now, a wholesome clip of the pair winning has been shared by esports reporter Jake Lucky. The video sees Jeannie lining up her final shot before nailing a perfect strike. The crowd goes wild. It's adorable. The clip will be in the dump down below, so check that out.
So how old are they again?
Jeannie is 95.
So they probably started playing
96,
when they were in their 80s.
Well, Gilbert's 85, so he's a younger man.
Jeannie.
Jeannie and Gilbert. They might not necessarily be a couple.
Cradle robber. Jeannie. Disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
Scandalous.
Scandal. A further clip shows the pair receiving their award, wonderfully styled, as a Wii remote emerging from a bowling pin. It's proof that you're never too old to play games, compete, or follow your dreams.
Yes.
Bowling did return in Nintendo Switch Sports, which included a 16-player online battle mode. Eurogamer's Kristen Dolan was a fan of the package when he reviewed it last year.
It's not as good as Wii Sports.
It's not as good as Wii Sports. So yeah, Jeannie and Gilbert, they won.
Hell yeah.
Would you like to see her lining up her final strike and winning?
I would. Does she use one of those trough things that you roll a ball down?
No, she doesn't. She's a professional.
Okay.
Look at her go.
I'm seeing her. Oh, the technique is there. That's beautiful. Oh my God, there's so many people.
Oh my God.
There's so many people.
The crowd goes wild.
That's an arena. That's an arena full of people. That is an esport I would watch.
Oh my God.
League of Legends, I don't understand it. Dota, what even is that? Wii bowling, I would pay money to watch professional Wii bowlers.
Old people, they make me cry, and that might set me off. She just looks so happy. Everyone's so excited. Oh my God, look at them getting their trophy. It's going to set me off.
Hell yeah, Jeannie.
Hell yeah, Jeannie.
And Gilbert.
Wow,
what a dream team.
Oh my God.
That is amazing.
I love that.
How lovely.
Best thing ever. We got some news.
I do have some weird news.
Is it as wholesome as that? Doubt it.
No, it's not. But it's not bad either. This comes from Annika Brock on Twitter at BurningWyvern90, who writes for us. Hello, Annika. Thank you very much for
Wonderful
submitting.
header image as well. Annika.
Oh, yes. Very good on your Twitter. We enjoyed it a lot. This is Eurogamer and Ed Nightingale.
Oh, my God. A twofer for Ed.
It's a double Edder.
He's so big.
Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. This article has the headline, Streamer completes Elden Ring with a custom Bop-It toy.
They always be doing something weird, don't they?
They always
Elden
be.
Ring streamers. They
making
always
me
be doing something
feel like
weird.
a clown for struggling in that game. Bop it, twist it, pull it. Not phrases you'd generally associate with Elden Ring, but that's changed thanks to streamer Swoop Douglas, who completed the game with a Bop-It toy. Don't laugh. Bop-It toy. The streamer completed the All Bosses run at the end of March, sharing a clip on Twitter. A Bop-It Extreme 2 was used, allowing for just 5 inputs, which certainly adds to the challenge beyond the unique device. I had never actually beaten all of the bosses in Elden Ring before attempting to do it on a Bop-It, Douglas told PC Gamer, and I had eventually gotten to a point where I felt more comfortable on the Bop-It than a normal controller.
That's so
I think
funny.
it had to do with having no choice but to use more focus while playing on a Bop-It that made me actually better versus a normal controller. And yes, after this run, I held an Xbox controller and it felt absolutely foreign. So you can go check that out on
Finished it with a Bop-It.
on Swoop Douglas's Twitch, I assume.
I love that his first run through was with a Bop-It.
Yeah.
I respect that.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
There we are. That's my weird news.
Pretty weird.
Thank you for submitting weird news. It's time for a question.
It is. It comes from Moses Supposes. With the roaring adoration of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which we loved, and we didn't say anything bad about.
Oh yeah,
everyone in the comments.
People were very reasonable
really liked how
about
much
the fact
we had
that we didn't love it.
Yeah. What other Nintendo IPs would you like to see adapted into film?
Thank you, Mr. Supposes.
Mr. Supposes.
Also, just to clarify, I think we both enjoyed the Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, we
movie.
said that.
We just weren't. What was it? Roaring with adoration, which some people correctly assumed meant that we hate Nintendo.
Yeah. It's true. We hate them.
Obviously very true.
JK.
Hate Nintendo.
We don't appreciate them and they don't have a good relationship with us.
No,
and
they don't send us review codes.
They don't send us review codes. Just kidding. They actually quite like us.
Yeah,
we don't hate Nintendo.
We love Nintendo.
We just didn't like the Legend of Zelda and we just didn't think that the Mario movie
it's true.
was the best movie that was ever made.
Yeah, we didn't say that the Mario movie was the best movie ever made, and we weren't overflowing with praise about the creativity and freedom available in Tears of the Kingdom. But if you listen to our conversation, it's not because we think the game's going to be bad.
No.
It's just because I personally find that quite intimidating because I thought Breath of the Wild was a bit too open for me personally. So having even more of that freedom. Anyway, I don't have to defend myself. You understand. We like Nintendo, okay?
Right?
We like Nintendo. We just didn't think the movie was the greatest thing
movie in the world
ever made.
Right?
It was a great time. It was delightful.
A good fun time.
Jack Bowser was funny.
Yeah.
That's his name now.
That is. I probably quite like that actually.
Jack Bowser.
Yeah. That is a cool name. I would like to see a Star Fox movie.
Ooh.
I think that would make a really interesting sci-fi movie. Would appease the furries. They'd love it.
The furries would love it. They'd be seen.
I just think that it was like Fox was his surname?
Fox McCloud?
I did think that was his name, but I doubted myself. Would make a really interesting protagonist. And I just think that obviously the way that we've seen Star Fox games before would be interesting to see it as a potentially animated movie like the Super Mario one was.
If you go the animated route, there's so much Nintendo stuff you can do.
There is. I would also like a Splatoon horror movie.
Oh my God.
Because I would like to see kind of like the way that human beings became little inkling people. Because the whole thing is that it's set on Earth and it's like a post-apocalyptic world. But it's shrouded in joy because everyone's a little weird octopus inkling thing. So I personally would like to see the evolution of man into inklings. And I would like to see if it happened peacefully or if there was an entire generation of human beings turned into octopuses unwillingly.
To ensure the survival of the human race.
They were like, you must become an octopus.
Like a Cyberman situation or some sort of zombie virus.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to see that happen. And I'd like to see the world crumble as humans become inkling boys and girls.
Yes.
I think that would make a really interesting movie.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah, and I want it to be live action. So when they turn into the squids, it's just like an actual squid.
And there's a bit in there where the squids are flopping around in like the central hub area where everyone hangs out, and there's loads of people with really problematic artwork, proudly displayed that apparently is not being moderated at all.
Yeah, I would like
good.
that.
Yeah,
that's good.
We love that. I've got a few ones. I think there have been plenty of Pokemon movies. I know that, but I would like one that follows the plot of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow exactly. I know yellow is slightly different. Okay, fine. Red and blue. Exactly. And I know as well that there was actually a TV series. I can't remember what it was called because I did watch it. There was an anime several episodes long that did actually follow the plot of Red and Blue. And it was really cool. I liked it a lot. And I think a proper animated movie would be great. And I would watch that just like I would buy that game forever until I die.
Yeah.
And play it until I die. Apart from that, how about the most wholesome movie ever to exist with no character development, no there's no antagonist, there's no quandary at the center, nothing to struggle against. The Animal Crossing movie.
Yeah.
But
there is an antagonist.
Well, Tom Nook.
Capitalism.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. But it's like he's super chill about it.
He's super chill.
He makes you feel welcome on his island,
He's
even
like,
though
hey,
you owe him a lot of money.
You owe me literally 1 million bells.
Yeah.
But just pay whenever you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
But I will remind you every time you come into my shop that you owe me 1 million bells.
Yeah. I think a movie with absolutely zero, what am I trying to say? Not strife.
Narrative.
Maybe narrative. It's just a person who gets up every day and does really menial tasks.
They go and water their plants.
Yeah.
They run away from some wasps. That's the most high tense moment in the
running away from
show.
wasps.
Yeah, wasps. Yeah. Or there's like a tarantula, and you have to creep around the tarantula, and everyone's like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen?"
Maybe
it's fine.
The story could be that they arrive on the island and they have to sort of prove themselves to everybody. Like there's always a grumpy person that you encounter on the island.
Kind of like a Hallmark movie, like a rom-com style thing. Of like
you're a human who comes from out of town. You live with your anthropomorphized anthropomorphic animal family.
Yeah.
Be nice. How about, obviously, a Zelda movie? I think everyone would say that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little Easter egg of it in the Super Mario movie, but nothing beyond that. I think live action would be weird.
Yeah.
I can't see a live action Link and think that would look normal at all. He has to be a cartoon man, but he also doesn't really speak. So that might be a bit of an issue. But
Mario doesn't really speak that often.
That's true. They could give Link a voice, and I think that would be okay.
Yeah.
And
I think he should be played by Tom Holland.
I think he should be played by Chris Pratt, personally.
Mark Wahlberg,
yes. We should just keep the Uncharted casting going to every single movie. Last one I've got, because a lot of people have been saying, is the Mario movie the first step towards a Super Smash Bros. Movie, where you get all these different franchises in? I would actually rather not do one where they all leather the crap out of each other for no reason. I would rather they do a Mario Kart movie and they get all of the franchises in that way, because it's already, without any spoilers whatsoever, because this is in the trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but it is established that kart racing is a thing that happens.
And there is a Rainbow Road.
There's a Rainbow Road. They could literally just go through a warp pipe and end up in this dimension or this land where everyone races in their karts. I think that would work really well, especially as an introduction to other people. It's just like Mad Max. Yes, a gritty 18 rated Mario Kart
franchise movie.
That's what I would like. So there's some suggestions.
Mad Mario.
They got yes, Mario'd Max. They've got so many options, and I think most of them, in fact, all of them, would probably have to be animated to keep the charm levels. But I think it could work.
I couldn't think of any of them that would work in live action.
No.
Pikmin.
Kirby would be kind of upsetting.
Kirby would be horrifying.
It would be really scary.
Oh my god, a fleshy being consuming other things. Now that's a horror movie.
That is a horror movie.
Absolutely.
Where's the Kirby horror movie?
Yeah.
That's what we deserve. Well, it's time to move on to something rather large. You could even call it the big discussion. It's big discussion time. Time for the big discussion that this comes courtesy of Cameron Keywood. A lot of alliteration there. Barbar question sheep, have you got an answer? Media Molecule has revealed it will stop active development of Dreams later this year. After a final update in September, live support for the game creation platform will come to an end, though the studio will still deploy critical bug fixes when necessary. Dreams seemed to arrive at the right time when the C virus hit and everybody had time to play it, but this is the first time I have heard it in the news for a while. What are your thoughts on Dreams, and will it leave a lasting impression in gaming history? Kind regards, Cameron Keywood. The pad is sacred. It is. The pad is sacred.
I played Dreams briefly during the pandemic. I played through all of the things that they'd made and a few other people's creations. I attempted to do the tutorials to teach you how to make the games and gave up pretty quickly because I have no artistic ability whatsoever. But I do think Dreams was a really interesting idea and gave a lot of people the kind of boost that they might have needed to kind of pursue this kind of thing a bit further.
Some people were hired.
People were hired, exactly, yes. People made some really great stuff. I do, however, think that it has the same vibe to me as Roblox, but without the thing about the issue with child labor kind of situation. Yes. In the sense that the only way you are going to have fun in that game is if other people play the game and make stuff for you to play. I don't think Media Molecule made that many more like actual kind of playable short games like they did when they first released it. There was a few on there. And I haven't been on it since like 2020 when it was released. So I haven't really seen what people have been up to on there. And like Cameron said, I haven't heard about it in the news. I haven't seen any stories about it. There's not really been that many posts online. They're like, wow, look at this amazing Dreams creation, which I think is kind of telling of not the community, but how many people are actually playing it. Because probably on Reddit, it's probably popping off on Reddit, but outside of their own kind of sphere, there's not that many people really talking about things that have been made on Dreams. I do think it was a really interesting idea, and I do think that Media Molecule did a really good job with the tools they provided to players to make the stuff that they were able to make. And I think that a lot of the stuff that was made up by people is really great. However, I don't necessarily think that a game like this has, I don't even know if you'd call it a game really, a tool like Dreams would necessarily continue to have a place going forward. Just because I think nowadays with sources of kind of making games being so accessible, I think that it's not as much got a kind of USP as it kind of used to. I mean, it's a good like platform for people to share their kind of small games that they've made. But given that you can't make full-scale games, there was always going to be a limit to people's kind of creative abilities and creative freedoms. So I do think it's great. And I think I'm really glad that a lot of people got a lot of, out of it. But I personally never really got behind it. And it's a shame that it is going away. But also, as Ben put it in the message that he sent when we found out the news, they're finally free.
Yes.
So
Media Molecule are free.
Yeah.
We talked a little while ago on the podcast, didn't we, about developers that we missed, that have either gone bust or have been absorbed and stuff like that. And I said Media Molecule, even though they're still going, they've been working on Dreams for 10 years. And I know that they released a couple of games in that time. There was Tearaway and I think Tearaway Unfolded, which was the PS4 port of Tearaway. But they were showing tech demos for this in 2013, Dreams. So it's clearly a passion project that they've had in the works for so long. And I have absolutely no idea how they've managed to not make another game in that time and presumably not sell that many copies of Dreams and still be kept around.
That's such a good point.
I'm like absolutely baffled why Sony almost didn't say 5 years ago even like, hey, this Dreams thing is like, it's taken a long time. Could you maybe make another Little Big Planet as well, or another Tearaway or something? They've said that they're now shifting focus onto their next project, which I'm really excited for because I love Media Molecule. I think they're such a unique studio and they make some fantastic games. Tearaway was phenomenal. I loved Little Big Planet 1 and 2. And Dreams, which I also didn't really give the creating stuff side a go. I was just there to experience the like absolutely bat flip insane stuff that the community made.
Yeah,
you're right. You would see stuff go viral on Twitter every so often. Like, look, someone's remade the opening of this game in Dreams, and it's like, great, that's super impressive. But like, what do I do? What does that make me want to get Dreams? Not really. Not unless you want to make stuff. Of course, it was home to some incredible, like really upsetting meme games as well. The Quest for Cheese was a personal favorite of mine, and I think I will before the servers are properly killed. Although the Dream should still be available, perhaps to celebrate its dying moments. I will do a stream and go back in and play the various Quest for Cheese games, where you play as Wallace, and it's just full of memes and Thomas the Tank Engine, just really badly designed levels that's stuffed full of assets that other people have made. Yeah. And that is super impressive. The fact that people were able to make this stuff look so realistic. Like the tool set was obviously incredible. And there's so much to be said for what more could Sony have done to market this, because There weren't any adverts. It was never bundled with any consoles. It was never put on PlayStation Plus. It was never made free to play. It was never ported to PS5. It was never ported to PC. And there are certain arguments that would suggest maybe it wouldn't work as well on PC because without a way to export your games or sell them, where's the motivation? But that ultimately then rings true for the PS4 version as well. Like what's apart from just letting you be creative, the game felt like maybe it was lacking something. There wasn't enough of a single player going on. Unlike Little Big Planet and Tearaway, there wasn't a marketable mascot or anything like that. There was no real through line with the game apart from here's a set of tools, here's a platform to be creative on. And I think that's fantastic. And I think games like that should exist. But the fact that a studio as talented as Media Molecule, who have since, during the course of Dreams being out and being worked on, have lost a fair few talent that worked on some of their bigger, more successful games, who have gone on to found other studios. Like, why were they working on Dreams for so long?
I didn't even realize that they were still like actively working on it.
Seemingly all they've been doing.
Because I obviously was like, well, it's not really live service in the sense that like there's no microtransactions really in it. So how are they making any money from it? Because once you've sold the copies, you just update. I mean, obviously that's with every game, but with something like Dreams that seemingly required a lot of attention, it's kind of interesting to think why did they carry on with it for so long? Like
why did they clearly had like a golden ticket from Sony.
Yeah.
Like, I think their situation is so unique, unlike any other first party studios under any publisher in the world.
They're the absolute golden child of Sony.
They weren't making any money. Like, you're right. There was no income from this game apart from copies initially sold. And yet they were still able to, presumably they've been working on other stuff in the background, obviously, and they're now shifting focus to production on this next game. But I don't know what kind of arrangement they must have had to have just, at least outwardly, have this game that generates no revenue be their sole flagship product.
I think it's like, kind of there's that thing of like, they're the golden child of Sony and they can get away with everything. They're like doing all these naughty things behind Sony's back in the sense of not making any money. And Sony are like, oh, you're just so cute. You're just so sweet.
You gave us Sackboy.
Squeeze your cheeks.
I do wonder if this might have had something to do with it. That I can't remember her name, but one of the bigwigs at Media Molecule, she became a BAFTA fellow. And there are very few of those BAFTA Games fellows. In like Hideo Kojima is one of them, and I think Miyazaki became one recently as well. There's like a very select group of people who are BAFTA fellows, and I wonder if that maybe might have had perhaps a say in them either being kept around full stop or being allowed to continue doing what they were doing. You know, the fun, interesting, creative stuff that doesn't necessarily make a lot of money, because that would have looked terrible if she had been given a BAFTA fellowship and then their studio was shut down. So I'd be fascinated to learn how this is kept going. I think Dreams is super interesting, and I'm really sorry for all the people who love Dreams so much, because Media Molecule tried really hard to engage the community with their annual like Impy Awards, and they used to have these in-game events that would try and bring the community together, and that's obviously all going to go by the wayside now. But I am also super excited that Media Molecule, I mean, it sounds callous, and I don't mean it to sound callous, but I feel like they've thrown a lot of like, what's the flipping metaphor? They've shed a lot of weight? No. What is it? The monkey's off their back? Maybe something like that?
Yeah.
That might be it. You know what I'm trying to say? That I feel like Dreams was, to an extent, maybe dragging them down. Yeah. And I'm really excited to see what they work on, because those guys and girls and others are incredibly talented and so creative. And Dreams has not been cutting the mustard. And it's time for something new. And hopefully it has more of a single player, because multiplayer was planned for Dreams and that's now been scrapped. Maybe it'll have more multiplayer. Maybe it'll be more of a traditional video game, which is probably, at this point, if they've somehow managed to survive this, they'll need to make something more tangible, I think, for their next game. But rip Dreams.
R.I.P.
It's a shame. What an incredible product, but just didn't find an audience. Sad. Well, Thank you so much for listening / watching, everybody. Of course, let us know what you thought of what we discussed in the comments below. There's loads of other places you can find us on the internet as well. Ashton is going to tell you about them now.
Yes, I am. You can find us on youtube.com and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump for our videos and live stream content. When we are streaming on those, which mainly just Twitch at the moment, we are modded by Lord Brotovich, Trowling Badger, and Mr. Black. And if you have Amazon Prime, did you know that you get a free Twitch sub with that? And you can give it to us if you fancied, and we'd be really appreciative. Doesn't cost you any more, and we get a little tiny bit of money from it, so that would be great. If you want to follow us on Twitter or Facebook, twitter.com, facebook.com/Team TripleJump, Twitter for video and live stream announcements and weird news posts, and Facebook for video content and also weird news posts are on there as well.
Yes.
And if you, we'd like to thank Fraser, our community manager, for handling those. If you want to follow TikTok, it's tiktok.com/@Team TripleJump or @Team TripleJump on TikTok to find all our ticks and our talks. And if you'd like to be a Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump. Check out all the tiers over there. There's lots of cool stuff happening if you fancy. We also have a website. It's triplej.mup, triplej.mp, spells jump. It's very clever. If you want to join Discord, it's triplej.mup/Discord to chat with our wonderful community. On Discord, we're modded by Jack, Joe, Tori, and Hollow Eyes. And if they tell you to do something, bloody well do it, all right?
That'd be weird.
Don't be weird. If you would like to listen to the podcast in its audio form, you go to triplej.mup/podcast and check out any of the live stream VODs, triplej.mup/VODs. If you want to book a cameo from either of us or Peter Austin or James Jenkins, you can go to triplej.mup/cameo. And lastly, if you want to buy some sick and cool merch, like this t-shirt or this jacket, go to triplejumpshop.com and make sure you're following @TripleJumpShop on Twitter for the latest merch announcements.
We've got some fun new merch ideas, but we need to shift some old stock first. So if you want yourself some fancy ass logo merch, come get yourself hat, mug, hoodie, shirt, or all of the above. I don't know. I'm not your mum.
Have a look-see. See if you find something you like.
Absolutely. But how about you go... Oh, it's the highlight has gone weird in the print and it's completely black. Why don't you follow Peter and Ashton on Instagram and Twitter @ThatPeterAustin and @ScrambledAshton, and myself just on Twitter @confused_dude. You can see rocks on Instagram.
On Peter's Instagram.
What can people see on your Instagram?
Mainly pictures of me.
Pictures of Ashton on Instagram. We do lists every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday being the joint stream.
Blaze it.
On Twitch, and all the other ones are on Twitch as well. We're now just streaming on Twitch for the foreseeable, including the joint stream on a Thursday. But all the VODs will still go on the YouTube VODs channel. Okay? There we are. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly, Friday for patrons of a certain tier, Sunday for everybody else. Weirdest Games is monthly, a week early for patrons. After Dark podcast is fortnightly on Monday for patrons. And the podcast is every Saturday. Why don't you leave a 5-star review on your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. It would really help us out. Thank you so much. Coming out this week, it is actually happening now.
Yeah, we've teased it for like 3 weeks.
The first time, it wasn't quite ready. Last week, we had a 4-day weekend because of Easter. So we got the final draft through, but we didn't have enough time to upload it and schedule it before the end of the day. So it got pushed to this week. It is actually now out. You can go and watch it. Every Telltale Games video game ranked from worst to best. It's really good. You should go and watch it, please, and share it around on the internet.
It's also a Worst Games Ever week for you bloody lot. If you're a patron, it's already out. And actually, it might also be a Weirdest Games for Patreon as well.
Yes.
So check that out. And what was it this week? Because now I've got it right in front of me, but is it Cabela's Naughty Dog Adventure or is it Cabela's Naughty Dog Adventure?
It's neither. I wrote that in as a placeholder because I couldn't remember what it was called.
Right.
It's actually called Cabela's Survival Shadows of Katmai.
So that's not the name of it.
That's not the name of it,
cool.
no.
Just embarrassed myself.
No, you didn't embarrass yourself.
You embarrassed me.
I embarrassed you, yeah. Because I put it on the schedule because we had recorded it and I forgot what the name was.
So what's it called?
Cabela's Survival Shadows of Katmai.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Nothing to do with dogs, but there are a lot of dogs in it. That is now available on Patreon alongside Weirdest Games, as you said. So go check that out. Weirdest Games will be out for everybody next week, next Sunday probably. And Worst Games is out for everybody on Sunday, this Sunday. So there we are. That's your lot for this week. Thank you so much for listening/watching. Just enough time to talk about this week's sponsor once again, which is, of course, the Neutrogena and SIE collaboration, Horizon Forbidden West Burning Snores. Cure those nose holes, it says in the advert. Goodbye, everybody.
All right.
Take care. Bye.